Hey y'all, this is Marvin with Marvin Williams Cooking Adventures, and I'm getting ready to make my dressing for the holidays. And so I'm going to start off this morning making my cornbread. I have my large cast iron skillet because I'm actually going to double the cornbread recipe, and I have a stick of butter. Okay, so my large cast iron skillet and a stick of butter. And I am putting it in a 425 degree preheated oven. And I'm going to get started making my cornbread. I'm actually looking at my cookbook that has the cornbread recipe in there. I'm going to use 2 cups, doubling the recipe, 2 cups of plain yellow cornmeal. You can use white if you like, but I don't like white cornmeal. And you know the reason why I don't like it? Because I grew up eating yellow. And that's what Big Mama and them use. So for me, it's going to be yellow cornmeal. But y'all already know my tagline. My recipes are a guide. Be creative. Make it your own. So do what you like. Okay, and if you already got a good cornbread recipe that you use your recipe. But I'm just showing you kind of what I do to prepare my dressing for the holidays. 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay. Doubling this, so it says a half a teaspoon of baking soda. So I'm going to be using a whole teaspoon of baking soda. Because you know what I'm doing? I'm doubling it because I'm making enough for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I'll put it in Ziploc bags and freeze it for Christmas as well. It says 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, so 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay. Pinch of salt. And it's optional. You can add a little sugar if you like a little bit of sweetness to your cornbread or to your dressing. And I do. So I'm going to add a little sugar to mine. I'll be right back, y'all. I ain't gonna show you how much I'm putting because y'all know what some of y'all say. Oh, I wouldn't put that much. You know, it's your cornbread. You put as much as you want in yours. Okay? But I want a little bit of sweetness to mine, so I added some sugar. Using my whisk just to bring together my dry ingredients. And I'm going to try something. I've never done this before. I'm going to try something that I saw someone else do the other day. They added seasonings to the cornbread instead of putting it in the dressing. I think they added some more to their actual dressing once it was made, but they seasoned the cornbread, and that just sounded like a brilliant idea to me. So I'm going to add some celery seed. Okay. I'm going to add some parsley flakes. Because you know when you buy stuffing mix, it has all of those seasonings in it. So I just thought that is brilliant to go ahead and put your seasoning in your actual cornbread. Never done that before. And sage. Okay. That was it. All right. So I'm just going to whisk that together. Okay. All right. And then it calls for 2 eggs and a cup and a fourth of buttermilk. So I'm going to be adding 4 eggs. Excuse me as I go to the fridge. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at us, we can count. And a cup and a 1/4 of buttermilk. Okay, using the rest of this that I had in there. Saving that to recycle. So I'm going to be using 1, 2, 2.5 cups of buttermilk. Okay. And now I'm just whisking it together. I think I'm going to really like this idea of putting these seasonings in the cornbread mix. Okay. And I'll give you a, just see what that looks like. Okay. That's it. And from there, I'm going to, take the skillet, hear that sizzle. Woo! Pouring that hot butter in there. Stir it. And dump it back in the hot skillet. That's what makes for those crusty edges. Yes, sir. Because what you want to see is just what this is doing. Is that when it hits the skillet, it starts frying that bottom and those edges. Yes, sir. All right, look at you see the ends, the edges have started to kind of puff up. That's just what you want because it's going to make a nice crust on your cornbread. Okay. Now back in the oven. And I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes. Since I did make a double batch. Okay? So that's the cornbread. It's already in the oven. What I did last night, I love making dressing. There's 2 things that I really enjoy making that makes me think of Big Mama. That was my great-grandmother. I was blessed to be raised by 3 fabulous women. My mother and my grandmother and my great-grandmother. They're all gone now. I just lost my grandmother, or she went home to be with the Lord in 2013. So I got to spend the most time with her, and she was a funny woman, just a ball of fun. But my great-grandmother, Big Mama, we called her, I got a chance to get in the kitchen with her, and she taught me how to make sweet potato pies, and she taught me how to make dressing. Now it's just amazing how they only had salt and pepper, sage, and a few other ingredients, spices and stuff. But their stuff always tastes so much better than anything that I could ever come up with. But I did used to get in the kitchen with her and help her make the sweet potato pies and the dressing. And she always made her dressing in an aluminum dish pan. because she always made a lot of it. And she always made her sweet potato pies in an aluminum pan because she would make lots of sweet potato pies. So those are two things, two memories that I have of being in the kitchen with Big Mama. So what I did last night, I am not prone, I will cheat. I will take shortcuts. And so there have been times where I've deviated a little bit from her recipe, but I have the gist of it and I just kind of tweak it and do what works for me. But I always do it in an aluminum dish pan. So yesterday I looked in the freezer and I had some boneless chicken thighs in the freezer. So I put them in my crock pot yesterday. Not long ago, I had a recipe where ooh, that smells so good. I had a recipe that called for celery, only going to use a couple of stalks. So I chopped up my celery, put it in the freezer. I got in the freezer, got that out. And so I put the boneless chicken thighs in here with my celery, chopped onion, chicken base, and salt. That was it. And it smells so good. Okay? And a couple of bay leaves. Okay? So all I'm going to do is shred that chicken and add that to my dressing. I like to have some meat in my dressing. So I will shred that and add it to the aluminum dish pan. Big Mama always, as it was approaching the holidays, she would put leftover cornbread and in the freezer. And then when it was time to make dressing, she'd pull that old bread out and start crumbling it in that dish pan. She would also, if we had some stale crackers, saltine crackers, she'd put a sleeve of those or put whatever leftover crackers we had in there. And occasionally some toast or white bread. She would crumble a little bit of that up in it as well. But the base of her recipe was the cornbread. And so I have a slice of cornbread that was left over from something I made the other day. I'm gonna put that in there. Got a couple sleeves of saltine crackers. Well, just a few crackers left in one and a few crackers left in another. I'll put those in there. I started putting, because I like the seasoning that's in them, I add a box of stovetop or stuffing. This one I happen to get the chicken flavor this time and the cornbread flavor. But I'm going to add a couple of boxes of that again because I'm making enough for both holidays. And I don't remember if Big Mama did this or not, but I've started, sometimes I will add some chopped boiled eggs to mine. So I did boil some eggs this morning, and I'm going to add a few chopped boiled eggs to mine. The last thing, I do add some cream of chicken, cream of celery. But anyhow, I'll come back and put it all together in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead, while the bread is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and peel my boiled eggs. And I'll see y'all once the cornbread gets done. And I'll probably go ahead and shred my chicken. All right? I'll see y'all in a few. And now I'm just going to remove my chicken from the crock pot. Because I like meat in my dressing. But this is not necessary, so you don't have to do it this way. Well, you don't have to do anything I do, right? Because my recipes are a guide. Be creative, make it your own. I'm just gonna add chicken. All I need right now is a dip of snuff and a hem. Big Mom would be in that kitchen with that dip of snuff in her mouth. She'd have on a duster, have her stockings on with a knot tied at the knee, and she'd be in there with her hands in this pan, moaning and singing. When I rose this morning, I said thank you, Lord. When I rose this morning, I said thank you, Lord. Yes, sir. So I'm just going to continue to put this chicken in there. The dressing can be a meal all by itself if you got some meat in it, all right? Uh-huh. Really don't need this knife because it's so tender. It's just coming apart. Love my slow cooker. But sometimes I even cheat. I will do a rotisserie chicken and then use that chicken base. That was one of the things that I put in. I ended up with the cornbread because it was so thick and I did a double batch. Right now I'm looking at 25 minutes that it's been on because I wanted to make sure that it's good and done, and I love the crust that it produces. So okay. It's gonna be some good eating here. So again, in the slow cooker, I just did, I think it was 8 boneless chicken thighs. I did chopped onion, chopped celery, couple of bay leaves, salt, and chicken base. That chicken base will just give it a good chickeny taste. Okay, so on the times that I cheat and I use rotisserie chicken, I'll just debone a rotisserie chicken, saute my celery and onions in a little butter, and then add my chicken, some water in that chicken base, and make my stock. Okay, so I love taking shortcuts when I don't have a lot of time. And just like you know, working full time, shortcuts are all right with me. But I do know how to, you know, boil a whole bird and do all of that. But, you know, it ain't happening this time. All right. So that's all of the chicken out of the pot. Rinse my hands off right quick and take a look at this bread. See what it's looking like. See if it's gonna stop jiggling. Oh yeah, that's right there. Yes, sir. All right, oven off. So I got my meat, little saltines, and then leftover cornbread. Got my boiled eggs. Like I said, I can't remember if Big Mama put boiled eggs in hers or not. She may have. But I've had it with it before, and I just like it. So sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Yes, I have a chopper, but by the time I get all them gadgets and gadgets out of the cabinet. I could have done it by hand. So, and I'm doing this video because people are asking for them. Because honestly, if you follow my page anytime, y'all notice that I don't do a whole bunch of cooking videos. I usually just write up what I've done, because this can be kind of time consuming when you can go ahead and whip things up when you're trying to explain and show and all of that kind of stuff. So for those of you who are going to complain and have criticism, that's fine. But for those of you who have been asking me to do more videos, I'm trying, all right? And again, cooking is a hobby for me. I'm not a professional chef. Even though I have this cookbook, I have the cookbook because people, my food family, as I call you, on my page, encouraged me to do it, because they were writing them down and printing them all out, and they said, why don't you do a book? We would support you. And you guys have been very supportive, and I appreciate that. So since that other video went viral, people are asking me to do more videos, so we'll just see how it goes, and I'll do them when I can. All right, last egg. There we go. All right. Let me roll. As Big Mama say, let me rinse off my hands right quick. Rinse, I mean. All right. I'm gonna add that. This is the chicken flavored stuffing mix. And the cornbread flavor. And again, I'm making a lot because I'm doing it for 2 holidays. May even have some left over for New Year's. All right. Okay. See that? Look at all that meat. I love being able to go back and get a little dressing and cranberry sauce, or a little leftover dressing and a cold slice of sweet potato pie. Have mercy, Mr. Percy. All right, the last thing that I'm going to add is that cornbread. And of course, I'm not going to be able to handle it too much because it's hot. Sure enough, look at that. Is that not a thing of beauty? Oh, look. Ooh. Look at those seasonings. Yeah, and that crust, that's going to make for some good dressing right there. But look at those seasonings. Can y'all see it? I think I'm going to continue to do this from now on. Okay. Ooh-wee. Shooky. I would normally let this cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna make a lot of dressing. There we go. Now I can get in here with my hands. Oh, Lord. And for some of y'all who are saying that the video is too long, fast forward. Fast forward. Woo! Y'all, that looks so good. Look at that. See those boiled eggs? The meat. The crust from that cornbread. So I'll be able to put large Ziploc bags of this in the freezer. And it keeps a long time. I have made my dressing for Thanksgiving and still had a bag in there when Easter rolled around. And it was wonderful. But do what works for you. Okay, that's perfect. I want to taste this cornbread. Okay, washing my hands. All right, from here, you're going to start adding your broth. So what I do is I spoon out all of the celery and onions from my broth. You want to use all of that just in case you don't use all of the liquid. You will get all of your onions and your celery. Make sure you remove the bay leaf. So I'm just using a slotted spoon to get all of my celery and onions. Some people put bell peppers in there. If I'm using those frozen bags and it happens to be in it, so be it. Okay. Okay. And I'm probably going to end up using all of this broth because I didn't realize it was going to make this much. So, here we go. So I'm going to start pouring in some of the broth. Can't help it. Okay, I do like cream of chicken and cream of mushroom. So I'm going to add a can of that. You don't have to. Okay. That's the cream of celery. And 1 can of cream of mushroom. Not mushroom, cream of chicken. No cream of mushroom, not mine. Cream of chicken and cream of celery. Definitely going to use all, I think, of this broth, so I'm going to pour more of the broth. I'm going to give y'all a peek in a minute. Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking for right there. Okay. So I'm gonna just taste it and see what it's acting like. Y'all, I promise you, that there's all right. Mm-hmm. I'm going to add a little black pepper. I'm gonna let y'all look at me while I put it in there. That's too much. I wouldn't put that much in mine. Y'all something else. And a little rubbed sage. Okay? A little rubbed sage. Not a lot. If your dressing is green, I'm gonna ask for more mashed potatoes. I'm not gonna add any salt at all. Don't need any. Oh my goodness. I'm happy. I promise you I'm happy. That's it right there. Another spoon. I'm gonna try it one more time here. From here, it's gonna be all about getting it seasoned to your palate. You want more salt, want more sage, more pepper, whatever. You would just season it until it's right for you. Right before I bake it, I will crack a couple of raw eggs, beat them, and fold that into it. Bake it in like a 375 to 400 degree oven until it puffs up and browns again, you know, like cornbread would. But this is it for me. That is my dressing. So, again, I know this is not the perfect video, and somebody gonna complain about it, how long it is, what I did, I didn't do. Did the best I could to show you what I do. Again, my recipes are a guide. Be creative, make it your own. Page 66 of the cookbook, you'll find the guide for the dressing. The cornbread recipe is in there as well. I hope you guys have a great holiday. God bless you. Love you all.